What's up guys, this is Triple. Today we're going to be looking at perhaps one of the most controversial scenes in The Last Jedi, specifically the death of Supreme Leader Snoke by his apprentice, Kylo Ren. In the scene, Snoke was restricting Rey through the Force when he demanded his student strike her down to complete his training. Kylo Ren says to Rey, "I know what I have to do," making Rey desperately respond, "Ben," perhaps in a last effort to remind Kylo of the good she sees in him. Snoke responds to Rey calling her pathetic, saying she is foolish to think she can turn his student away from his teachings. Supreme Leader Snoke goes on to taunt Kylo, making explicit remarks which imply that Snoke has ultimate control over him. Just as Snoke finishes up his last line, Kylo surprises everyone by activating the lightsaber to Snoke's right, piercing the Supreme Leader across his lower body. But was Kylo Ren really the one who activated this blade? What if Rey was actually the one to commit this act? Let's break down the facts and I'll let you guys decide. One of the first counter-arguments to this theory is that Snoke was restricting Rey through the Force, making her face towards Kylo, ultimately placing her in a position of little to no power. However, what if Rey is stronger than we presume? It certainly wouldn't be the first time that we receive hints regarding her raw strength. For example, she managed to bring down Luke Skywalker to his knees with only minimal knowledge of the Force. One could argue, of course, that Luke's skills were weakened by his disconnect with the Force, and that's why Rey was able to overcome the old Jedi Master. Nonetheless, Rey's raw strength could hint that she can indeed concentrate enough to be the one to turn the lightsaber and ultimately ignite it, defeating Supreme Leader Snoke despite being bounded by his grasp. However, another counter-argument to this theory is that once Snoke was pierced by the lightsaber, the camera clearly depicts Kylo's left hand using the Force to bring the lightsaber forward, ultimately cutting Snoke in half. So we know Kylo Ren cut him in two, but can we be so sure that he was the one to turn and/or activate the lightsaber? It's also worth mentioning that when Kylo pulls the lightsaber in his direction, he allows Rey to catch it, almost as if they were ready to work together. What if Rey activated the lightsaber, killing Snoke in hope that Kylo would turn back to the light? It's quite apparent that she has good faith in him within this film. What if killing Snoke was the first step of trust between the two? So this theory is saying that Rey activated the lightsaber. Kylo goes along with it as he is frustrated by his master's arrogance and constant remarks about his lack of skill, causing Kylo to seal the deal in a way by cutting Snoke in half, and then allows Rey to intercept the lightsaber as he was aware he would need her help to defeat Snoke's guards. It's also worth mentioning that Kylo tells Hux directly that Rey killed Snoke. Perhaps this segment was not a lie like we were initially led to believe. Possibly the only evidence we need to bust this theory is that in the film there is a brief shot of Kylo making a fist just before the lightsaber activates to Snoke's right. This implies that as soon as Kylo brought his fingers into his palm, this is what activated the lightsaber, as the shots line up to portray this. Yet one could argue that Kylo was simply getting frustrated by Snoke's remarks, and so he was tightening his fist in anger. This would suggest that Rey beat him to killing his master, which to me sounds a bit far-fetched. It's also possible that Kylo was getting fired up by Snoke's insults, and was ready to prove himself to his master once more by killing Rey. Yet upon Rey uncovering how vulnerable Snoke really was, Kylo Ren suddenly felt a lust for power, a way out of his master's chains. Because of this, Kylo finished what Rey started by cutting his master in two. This aspect of the theory can be supported when he reveals to Rey his plan for her to rule the galaxy at his side. One last counter-argument to this theory is that in a recent interview with Rian Johnson, director of The Last Jedi, he made explicitly clear of his intentions behind the scene. He says, "Snoke's place in this movie came about largely from me figuring out Kylo's arc, what Kylo's arc was going to be in this movie. In my mind, what I wanted to do with Kylo was to take him and basically knock out the kind of shaky foundation from under his feet, and build him by the end of the movie into someone who's standing up as a credible but complex villain. He's taken the reins basically, he's no longer a Vader pretender. He's somebody who actually is going to be going into the next movie as someone who's taken control and taken the reins of everything." This quote from Johnson implies that he wanted Snoke out of the equation so that Kylo Ren could grow as the clear central villain in Episode 9. Based off this, I personally believe that this theory is not likely. However, it is an interesting one at that, and it would certainly play a huge role on their character development going forward. It's also worth mentioning that J.J. Abrams is the one directing Episode 9, not Rian Johnson, meaning that Abrams can theoretically take this story in whatever direction he pleases. If this theory was to be true, it would progress Rey's character in that she would prove once more just how powerful her connection with the Force really is. Kylo Ren's character, however, would once more become a further tangled mess as we would have no clear indication as to what he would have done in that situation. For all we know, Kylo could have been sold on killing Rey, but upon watching her kill Snoke, who like I previously stated was teasing his student, Kylo Ren could have been so emotionally conflicted that he decided to go along with it. Like I already established, I do not think this theory to be true. However, I had many comments come in addressing this situation, and so I felt obligated to make this video on it. I'm curious to know what you guys think of this theory. Leave your own thoughts and opinions below and I will do my best to get back to you. Also, please do not hesitate to comment your own theory, as I could be open to making a video about that as well. This has been Triple, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.